Hi everyone, and welcome to Hot Humble Pie. My channel will help you dupe some of the Dollar Tree craft supplies, give you tips on what supplies you can find for free, and show you how to create beautiful, expensive looking decor with things you would normally consider trash. So if you enjoy crafting and you don't mind spending a little more time on detail, get ready to have some fun. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. DIY number 1. I've used a shape that I've cut out as an egg, and when you fold it in half, it's easier to get that shape even. And I'm just tracing it out on some foam board. Now you can substitute foam board for cardboard in this craft. And I'm cutting it out with my utility knife. I made a total of 3 eggs. I'm painting the side of my foam board brown, which is very important when you're working with a foam board, but because of the edge I decide on later, I should have painted it or would have preferred to paint it white. So if you do this craft, you can go ahead and paint it white. Just make sure you paint it. You'll need a mop from the Dollar Tree or any place, and I'm just showing you how easy it is to get it out. You're going to start cutting the mop strings in small sections like this, and you'll be gluing them as you see here. This is a great imitation for shiplap, and the mop threads are a great imitation for macrame, which is the perfect look, or if not the look, for Farmhouse Boho. I do want to mention though that if you decide not to do the same edges I do, because there is a method here, there's a madness to the method, do paint your foam board or your cardboard brown on the sides, because that will show at that point, so you're going to need to cover them up. If you don't have a mop, try experimenting with twisted paper for this craft, where you twist it really tight and then glue it down like shiplap. I think that might actually do really well and make a really good substitution for the mop thread, but practice a little bit before you glue it on your eggs. Go ahead and cut the yarn flush with the egg shape underneath. You're going to need 1 mop thread, and we're going to be doing something interesting with the mop thread. You're going to be gluing it around the egg, but you're not going to be leaving it there as a trim. Now stay with me here, because we are not insane to put an edge on and then tear it off. There's a reason for this. You're going to glue it on, and you're going to make sure that it comes to a little bit warmer than room temperature. So not cold, y'all, not hot, room temperature. That's really important. If it gets too cold, it will tear, and if it's too hot, it won't stick. So room temperature, but watch what happens here. You see that? Isn't it gorgeous? It gives you that furry edge. Perfect for boho. I love it. You don't have to do it. You can leave the trim on, but I love it for boho. The Dollar Tree terracotta pots that we see all crafters using, we're going to be making those today with styrofoam cups. Make sure they have those ridges and designs on like you see there, so that they look like they can imitate terracotta pots. We've got burnt umber, territorial beige, and black apple barrel paint, and there you see some substitutions in case you don't have styrofoam cups. And by the way, for the tin cans, you can go ahead, if you use a tomato paste can, refer back to my video. I'll leave a link in the description box. It shows you how to paint a tin can with a little bunny on it. Just skip the bunny, and that's a perfect look for painting the tin cans for this boho craft. And there it just showed me using a wine cork making the circles, and now I'm filling them in, and you can use any round object that you have. And if you decide to use an applesauce cup, just paint it white and go from there and copy the exact same painting I'm going to do with the styrofoam cups. It'll come out really nice. That is territorial beige on the top and burnt umber on the bottom, and this one's just going to be burnt umber all the way across. I'm using a makeup sponge. You can use any sponge you want. Here you're going to need some wooden dowels. If you don't have any wooden dowels, just go outside and grab a stick. That probably would have looked better in a lot of ways, but I wanted to use up the dowels I bought. Now here's a trick with the styrofoam cups. The shape of a styrofoam cup is very distinct, and so the craft will be cheapened if we leave it in that shape. The only way you can trick the eye is you've got to cut those styrofoam cups down so that they look more like a terracotta pot. And here I'm just tracing the circle out on the foam board because I'm going to be making the bottom of these terracotta pots. You know, obviously I don't have a bottom now, so I've got to get a bottom on them. And I'm just gluing them in. I'm going to put some glue on the bottom to hold the bottom in. And I start painting them in the territorial beige. I do go on the inside a little bit, but it's not overly perfect because you're not really going to see the inside. Okay, I'm just doing some dry brushing here with the burnt umber. Pretty easy technique, just dry brush it on. I'm sure most of you know how to dry brush. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to take a sponge and do some distinct edges on this pot here with the burnt umber. You'll see me do it in a minute. And I am going to stick foam in these in a minute as well. Now, if you don't have foam, refer back to my cheap and easy faux wood bead video. There is a recipe for white beads at the end of that video, and it doesn't require an oven to dry. You can make a little ball, stick your little stick from outside. If you don't have dowels, because I do use dowels, there they are. If you don't have a dowel, just grab a stick from outside. You can stick that in that dough, make a little hole, and it will dry hard overnight. It will give you weight inside your faux terracotta pot, and it will also give you a hole to glue the dowel down inside. Now, I am finishing the back of these, as you can see, just putting some masking tape. And that's because these are going to be a gift for someone. Someone wants them. So they're going to have a finished back and a little more detail. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just think it looks nice. So I put the tape down and I'm painting it black. Another idea, if you don't have the ingredients to make the dough for weighing your little pot down, is just use some lentils or rice or anything heavy like that that you have in the house. Mix it up in some school glue, glue your stick down first at the bottom of the terracotta pot, and then pack it down with that glue and it will dry nice and hard and sturdy for you. And here you see me edging it with another little yarn thread from the mop, just to give the back a finished look. And they come out really chunky and thick looking, you guys. They look really nice and expensive in real life. Now, if you do have foam, you're just going to follow this right here. Keep your foam too if you order things online and you get foam. Even cheap styrofoam works, but it needs weight, and I choose lentils. That's right. I think it looks so awesome, you guys. It's so rustic and it gives it weight. I end up dumping those out into a bowl and dumping a bunch of school glue on them and stirring them up and pushing them back into the terracotta pots because it makes them really hard and really heavy. It comes out really awesome, you guys. I didn't expect that. They look so earthy and so boho. It's just that whole flavor and look that's in right now, you know, nature, earthy, boho. It's just came out really nice for an Easter decoration. And I decided these guys need some bows, so I put some bows on. And here's the final result. And of course, throughout the video, I'm saying I love these. So you guys already know I love these. I love these for the boho. I surprised myself on these. When I got this idea, I was just so excited because you Google Farmhouse boho Easter decorations, not a whole lot comes up, so you've really got to get creative. And if someone loves boho, these are perfect. They're easy, and right now they're free. I mean, you can find almost everything in your house that you need. You can substitute the foam board with cardboard, and I gave you the other suggestions, so I hope you enjoy these. DIY number 2. Collect some sticks from outside and then cut your sticks up like this. 1 egg shape from the Dollar Tree, but you can cut this from foam board or cardboard, and 2 wine corks, 1 skewer. If you don't have any skewers, just use some branches from outside. You're going to start by painting your egg shape or oval shape. You can even make this with an oval if you want. It can be an all year round decoration. Just paint it white. Stain your skewers brown. If you're using sticks from outside, you can skip that step. And cut your wine corks really thin with a utility knife into little discs like this. Place everything down where you want it to be before you begin to glue. Trust me. And yes, I cut my finger doing this craft, so please be very careful. I'm painting each one of my little discs in Easter colors or soft colors. I chose pink, green, and purple. You can choose whatever colors you want, or you can leave them just natural, or you can stain them with some burnt umber watered down. And of course, you guys, when it comes to crafting, it's totally up to your personal preference and how you want your craft to come out looking. I choose to stain the center with the burnt umber, and I choose to stain also the edges of the petals there to make it look all rustic and old. And we're going for boho, so that's always got that look as well. And by the way, all the paints I use are the apple barrel paints from Walmart because they're the cheapest. If I use any other kind of paint, I will mention it. And my camera does not like the light reflecting off of this ruler. Sorry guys, when I go to score it keeps going bright and then dark. I didn't realize that, so I will use a wooden ruler next time. Now here you can take a simple screwdriver, you don't need any fancy tools, and I'm going to score my board. That's just pushing a groove down into the wood to make, well, grooves. And it makes it look more realistic. I like doing it. I mean, everyone was so excited when the Valentine's Day signs came out at the Dollar Tree because they had grooves, and this is really simple, you guys. You can do this on any wood surface, especially the cheap little signs from the Dollar Tree. Even foam board and cardboard, you just have to be really gentle. The technique's a little bit different. You don't pull down, you press more and kind of nudge your way down so that you don't tear the paper, but it works. And here I'm just going to place everything and then mark where my stems are so that I remember when I go to glue them down. If you do find yourself using foam board or cardboard, go ahead and collect some extra sticks, cut them in about 1 inch or 1/2 inch if you want them a bit smaller, and go around and give your cardboard a frame. It will add weight to your wall plaque and hold it down flush with the wall, and definitely it will add beauty. And now I'm just going around the edges a little bit with the burnt umber to make it look more rustic. You know, I'm telling you, you guys, if you don't have anything else in your farmhouse arsenal of supplies, make sure you stock up on the burnt umber. It is so versatile. I use it for stain. I use it to edge almost everything. I mean, it's awesome. I love that paint. I'm testing it out in the back here because I'm going to go for dry brushing here with a sponge, and it ends up turning out really awesome. I love the way that looks, but yep, I'm dry brushing with a sponge. And do lay down your sticks a little bit. You don't have to do it perfect, but get a general idea before you start gluing them down. You're looking for the straightest sticks and the ones that kind of have curves. You want them to fit together nicely, so just kind of get an idea before you start committing with hot glue. Now, in previous videos, I talk a lot about the importance of starting off with black and then dry brushing white on top when you're dealing with cardboard or foam board, or anytime you want to get a faux wood that looks like real wood, obviously. The color you're going to end up with is almost identical to this one with these sticks, because I mentioned it looks like worn, old, weathered wood, like you find on like an old beach or something, maybe driftwood. It's a good starting place because you can add browns in from that point, golds and, you know, the what is it, territorial beige and burnt umber. You can add it in and make your wood look like whatever you want, but the starting point is very realistic. So, and you can also leave those sticks hanging off. I'm going ahead and trimming them, but I thought it actually looked pretty cool with the sticks hanging off as well. That's another rustic boho look. And I go ahead and add a little bit of burnt umber just to add some more dimension and depth. Now I'm just using the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon and making a bow. So, okay, you guys, when I stand back and look at this board, I realize you can't even see the scoring lines because the skewers are overpowering them. So I do take a brown Sharpie and draw inside them to add some more shadow. Just adding some twine and some masking tape for a nice back and a nice little hanger for this. And I end up adding a little bit of white on top of that wood there just so it blends in. It's really pretty too in real life. Well, maybe you can see it in the film too, but it looks really good. I decided to stain some Dollar Tree buttons with the burnt umber and use them in the middle. Came out really good because it added more like dimension, and I love doing that. They get like watery and weird looking when you stain them with the paint, and it just adds more rustic characteristics to your piece. Now, if you don't have corks, you can fall back on my bead video and you can make those little round shapes with that and get a 3D plaque. But here it is, you guys, up close and personal. I love this craft. It's absolutely beautiful and perfect boho Easter. But boho is definitely a drive back to Mother Nature. It's a very earthy, very grounded, natural look. You turn to the sticks in your yard, you see the natural branches hanging on the macrame wall hangings. It's all about nature. Even the wine corks tie in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this craft. Feel free to add anything you want. Little tassels on the flowers would be cute. Just whatever you want. Just have fun, and I hope I inspired you. DIY number 3. Here's the inspiration photo I found on Pinterest for this project, except I think mine's nicer. So you need a wooden egg. I got this for $1 like 18 years ago at Michael's, but I found it still at Michael's. It's there. They've painted them white now, but it's still 99 cents, so great deal. And the rest of your mop yarn from the Dollar Tree mop and a Sharpie pen. Now, of course, go over everything and draw all your designs with pencil because the designs are very intricate, and in order to get them even and not mess up, you definitely need to start with pencil. Here I'm showing you, I actually drew a line around so I could get that design nice and straight, and then I go in and I erase that afterwards. So we are going to use permanent marker. I'm using it in black. There I go. You can use whatever color you want. You can even use different colors, but I'm choosing black. And quite frankly, you guys, you can use a hard-boiled egg, because hard-boiled eggs for Easter, from my experience, they last the whole entire month without smelling or going bad. And my sister and I got together and painted some hard-boiled eggs like 18 years ago. We both did intricate designs. I threw mine away after about 2 months, but I guess she held on to hers for 5 years and they never smelled. Nothing ever went wrong. I don't know if she still has them, but needless to say, just hard boil some eggs and do these designs and put them in there. And the neat thing about this little crochet hanger is you can use this all year round. I mean, you can put little succulents, suffering succotash succulents. That's a tongue twister. But you can put little succulents or whatever you want in these hangers all year round. They're very versatile. So I'm really excited about this craft, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, here comes the yarn part, and I am going to stay with you guys on this because this does require some instruction. And if you have any questions or don't understand something, feel free to leave a comment below and I will do my best to answer it. So you're going to start by bending it in that perfect little, I was just getting it so it was even, and then I marked it with a little permanent marker so I knew where to put my egg in the center of that yarn thread. And I do the same with this one as well. And I'm going to turn it like a cross, so it's going to go in a cross formation. And the egg's going to go right in the middle of the cross formation. Now these little yarn pieces are actually made up of 4 separate pieces. So you're going to pull 2 of them apart, leave them in groups of 2. Now, I'm showing you on a sample piece because I want you to do this on the pieces, as you can see I'm doing right here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. You're going to pull those apart, and you're going to pull them apart in sections of 2. There's a total of 4, and you're pulling them apart in sections of 2. And then you need to group those together in that formation. Now only use one of those 4 strands from some random strand, a rogue strand you've got somewhere else on the side. And make sure when you tie the little knots, you put a little bit of glue just to make it more secure. You know, it's funny, I've never done macrame before at all. And I just saw that picture and I thought I can do that. And honestly, it was one of those crafts as I was doing it, it was coming together, but I didn't really know what I was doing and I had no plan. And it ended up working out. That happens sometimes. So make sure too, when you tie that you kind of slide it up and down and lift it up. You know, just make sure it's in the right place on the egg where you want it to be, like I'm doing. I'm just kind of checking when I'm lifting it up to make sure it's not too high, not too low, because you can slide them up and down. Just be careful not to get glue on the other strands. Go light with the glue. Now remember, when you pull these strands apart, they're not strong. When it's a complete one whole mop thread, you can pull them really hard, but when you pull them apart, they tend to tear. They're really fluffy and soft. That's what gives the illusion of faux macrame though. And it still works, but you have to rely on the glue to hold it together, not a tight knot. If you understand what I mean, just don't pull the knot tight. Just pull it tight enough. So now you see how I'm spreading out that formation. And I'm showing you I have 4 separate strands there. And those are the next ties you're going to make. So that's and something I want you guys to do. I made a mistake and had to take it apart and refilm. But when you tie it, it's in the formation. See a cross at all times, like a formation of a cross. And when you tie it at the end like I am, go across to the other side, directly across from it on the same axis. And I'm going to do it now, you'll see it, and tie there. Don't go to the sides and tie it, or you will get confused because it starts to pull and lose its shape and you will get so confused where you're at. So I go across and I tie it right there, and then you just do it to the other 2 as well and you won't get confused. So I'm just adding my little tiny dots of glue. This is sped up a little bit, obviously, but I was going really slow to make sure I didn't get on the rest of the strands. So I pull them all up together, I gather them, and then I tie them with a full mop. I don't know what to call them. I guess they're mop threads maybe, or mop yarn. Just don't pick that one apart. Now I'm having it in real life motion right here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm pulling one through one way and one through the other way so that you give the illusion that they've been wrapped around and around and around when you've tied it. But that is one you can pull really strong and tight because it's a complete yarn thread. There you go, a yarn thread. It's got all 4 of the little mini threads in it, so I'm pulling pretty tight there. And I'm telling you to lift those up. and have them join in with the other ones at the top. Like I said, I had no plan for this. I was making it up as I went and just looking at what version was the most aesthetically beautiful. Oh, and these little mop have like colors in them, like yellow, blue, sometimes little random rogue colors, and I just show you that you can pick them out if you don't like it, but they actually look kind of boho and cool too. So if you want to leave them in, leave them in. Oh, but I'm saying, wait a minute. I realize that this is missing something. So I go ahead and I pull one of those strands apart again in 4 pieces. Straighten them out, and I wrap them around my finger because we're going to make a tassel with that. And here I'm using 2 pieces to tie around the top part of the tassel, and I'm going to grab a pencil and put it through the top because I'm struggling kind of to keep the hole open there. So I finally say, oh, forget it, and I grab the pencil. There, and that works really good, you guys. And you can slide it up and get it really tight and you don't lose the hole. I hope you guys understand what you're seeing here. Like I said, feel free to ask questions, rewind, whatever you need to do. I'll do my best to help you. This is a great craft though. And I'm just cutting off the end of the tassel, and I'm going to straighten it out the best I can to make it even. I go ahead and glue this on because I want it right up against the bottom, and it looks really pretty glued on, so feel free to glue your tassel on if you don't want to bother tying it on the bottom. And I add another of those 2 rows of the little thin threads at the top to tie it at the top there, but I leave one part long and one end short. Not part, one end is long and one is short because I am going to wrap this one around and around and around. And there I go. And I tie it together with the little short piece that I left, and it broke. See, I show you that it broke. So again, I'm going to secure this with glue because I'm not confident with the single threads. They look good, they look very macrame-ish, but they're not strong. You can't see the glue either. I'm using the spatula just to rub it in. I'm using a very small amount of glue so you can't see it at all. And I'm tying 2 more at the top. That's going to be my loop for hanging it. And there it is, you guys, and check this out. I am so pleased with this DIY. I mean, I can't even begin to say. It surpassed my expectations. I had no idea how it was going to come out. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and it just came together beautifully. This is the ultimate boho Easter decoration. I ended up making 4 of them. Honestly, I have like 60% of my yarn still. I don't know how you get rid of the mop head. And you don't really buy the mop head at the Dollar Tree, by the way. You have to buy the whole thing, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with the metal, I guess, bars or metal sticks. But either way, love this craft, and if you liked it too, if you liked what you saw in this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification box. I would love to have you. And until then, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.